Okay, we're on the record. First case I'm calling is CR 25-17244, State versus Shedrick Mills. Sir, are you Shedrick Mills?
Yes, I am Shedrick.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mills, I have to go through a few things with you this morning. You have 3 charges against you. First of all, count 1 is attempted murder in the 2nd degree. That's a class 2 felony that leads from a minimum of 1 year in prison up to 50 years in prison. Count 2 is use of a deadly weapon, that being a firearm, to commit a felony. That's a class 1C felony that leads from a mandatory minimum of 5 years in prison up to 50 years in prison. Count 3 is possession of a deadly weapon by a prohibited person. That's a class 1D felony. That leads from a mandatory minimum of 3 years in prison up to 50 years in prison. Now, I have to give you an advisory. You do have the right to an attorney. Are you asking for assistance from the Public Defender's Office, Mr. Mills?
Yes, nobody has talked to me today.
All right, well, we'll take care of that right now. I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. What's the date that we're going to set this down for hearing? This will be set for a preliminary hearing on November 10th, so that has to do with what I need to tell you next. I covered the fact that you have the right to have an attorney appointed to represent you. You also have the right to a preliminary hearing. I just scheduled it for preliminary hearing on November 10th at 9 a.m. in courtroom 625. At that hearing, you have the right to require the state show probable cause exists to believe that you committed these felonies as charged in Douglas County, Nebraska. You would further have the privilege against self-incrimination. That means you would not have to testify. You would also have the right to cross-examine and question anybody who would testify against you. If at some point during the pendency of this case you decide you want to waive, that is, give up your right to a preliminary hearing, you would give up the rights I just mentioned to you, but only for purposes of the preliminary hearing. You would not be giving up your right to be represented by an attorney. Do you understand that? You will always have an attorney there to assist you.
These are fake charges, sir. I was set up.
No, let's not talk about that. You can talk about those types of what you think are defenses with your attorney. So what I need to find out from the state is probable cause and prior record, Mr. McMahon. I have noted your appearance, Mr. McMahon, for the record. Ms. Wharton, yours as well.
Your Honor, October 6, 2025, approximately 6:15 a.m., defendant was at the Quick Trip gas station near 120th and Dodge Road, Omaha, Nebraska, Douglas County. He's acting belligerent and disruptive to customers. They asked him to leave. He refused. They called police. Officers arrived, made contact with the defendant, asked him multiple times to leave the business. He refused multiple times. They ran his information. They found he had an active warrant and was a fugitive from justice from Iowa. They attempted to arrest the defendant. He was non-compliant. They made multiple attempts to get him to comply. He refused. The defendant pulled out a firearm. He shot the Omaha police officer in the head. The Omaha police officer was transported to Bergen Hospital for emergency medical treatment. The defendant fled the scene. He is found nearby at another local business, approximately 6:30 a.m. inside the business. Officers arrested him. They found him with the firearm and 2 magazines. Judge, for priors, he has a pending domestic violence case in Douglas County from July 1st to 2025. He has multiple misdemeanors in Douglas County. He's a fugitive from justice from Iowa with a warrant. He has 3 failure to appear convictions.
Ms. Wharton, do you wish to state anything on the record on behalf of Mr. Mills?
Yes, sir. He's a lifelong resident of Omaha, and he does live here locally, so I don't believe he's a flight risk. He's 36 years old, and he has family in the area. He had been working previously as a security guard for RPG, and he can work in that capacity because he is not a prior convicted felon, nor does he have any prior convictions for domestic violence. I realize there's one pending, but there are no convictions. His pretrial score is 2, which is relatively low. It means he's likely to reappear at court and unlikely to offend in that time. Additionally, he does have limited means to post bond, which, as you know, the court must take into consideration. And finally, from the information that was released by the Omaha Police Department and a statement made by the family, it is apparent that the defendant is suffering from some serious mental illness, which appears to have significantly contributed to this alleged situation. And I would ask the court to take that into consideration as well, and obviously our office will address that through our representation.
Okay, pretrial is to, as Ms. Wharton stated.
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. McMahon, anything further you wish to state on behalf of the state of Nebraska?
Your Honor, Nebraska statute precludes me from asking that no bond be set, but I do ask this court to set a bond commensurate with the serious threat to the physical safety of persons in the community that this defendant presents. Thank you.
I believe that's probably my biggest consideration this morning, not probably, but it is safety to the community and law enforcement in particular. No contact with the officer involved in this matter, Officer Mersick. Pretrial release, of course. GPS would be ordered. Bond will be set at $3 million, 10%. That concludes that proceeding. Who else in particular? Oh, anything, before we move on, any concerns about the amount that was set from the state?
No, Your Honor, thank
Ms.
you.
Ward, anything further you wish to state?
Well, yes, I would argue that it's excessive.
I'm going to leave it scheduled or set as stated on the schedule. Who was that again? I'm sorry. Got it. Sierra 25, 17198.